live. This is Real Talk Boxing. Hello, world. Real Talk Boxing episode 6. We are here. We are live. It's quarantine, and we're doing it. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Chris. My good friends call me Main. That's Main. I'm on all social medias. I'm on Snapchat, PS4, everything. Look at me for Mainzilla, MAINZILLA 23, Mainzilla 23. And another one of my hosts is going to be my man Jay, Mr. Jay Martinez himself.
So I'm glad we're back. Thanks for the. I thought you were gonna call me Mr. Martinez. I was like, man, I haven't heard that in I haven't heard that in weeks, because we're obviously having back to Classroom. But yes, episode 6. Excited to do this again. We have Robert's gonna join us here in a bit, and we have also here Ruben Rivera, who stays in California. He's part of the team. We brought him along probably less than a few months, maybe probably like less than a year. And but I'm excited. We don't have nothing scripted like we usually do. Oh, there's Robert, and there's Robert. I'm gonna hand it off to Robert here in a bit. And Robert's here. What's up, Robert?
Hey, what's up?
Man, you look like you just broke up.
No, man, I was down there. I was like, I just got the house a little bit ago, and I was like, man, I gotta fucking make sure my hair looks right. I can't get a fucking haircut for shit, but
Oh, I got
your hair looks cute, man.
Hey, I got a haircut, but I just can't tell you where. I get there where, but I've been trying to look a little bit fresh, So, anyways, like I was saying, I'm Jay Martinez. We don't have nothing scripted today. Sometimes I feel like our shows where don't go scripted are the best ones. And we have Ruben Rivera, who I was saying that he's been part of the team for less than a year. And I was telling Ruben right before we started, and Chris can say this, that anything that I do or that I tell them is because I get permission from Robert and Chris first. So I don't do anything without their permission. But I'll go ahead and hand it off to you, Robert, so you can introduce yourself to everybody for our show. Go ahead, Rob.
All right, yeah, I'm Robert Reyes, one of the co-founders of Real Talk Boxing. We've done this a long time now. It's nice to do. What's episode 6?
Episode 6, yeah.
Yeah. So make sure you follow Real Talk Boxing on all social media. Like I say, you can find us, Google us. It's easy to find. But I mean, it's been fun completely doing this. It's an easier way to do this whole platform compared to just talking on the phone, or we can't meet up at the studio or can't meet up at the gym or shit like that. So especially how things are right now. So it's been a lot better.
Yeah. And we have
a whole lot easier. A whole lot easier.
And we have over here Ruben. I'll go ahead and introduce him. He stays in Los Angeles, California, if I'm not mistaken. And I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself. Go ahead, Ruben.
Yeah, lifelong boxing fan. I live out here in Los Angeles. Trained over with Marvin Samodia at Combination Boxing, and I'm fortunate. I really am. I've been fortunate to work with Real Talk Boxing now, and I'm looking forward to covering other fights as soon as this quarantine's over.
Yeah, so let's dive in it, because I know a couple of months ago we sent you to the, and I keep on forgetting the fight, but we were talking about it. What was the fight that we had you on, and that you were kind of, or was it the Ryan Garcia one? Was it that one that you covered?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, the inaugural fight covering for you guys. That was with Ryan Garcia. Obviously, but that was a hell of a knockout. Fun event.
Yes. So go ahead, Chris. I'm going to ask you, and then you can take lead, Chris. So what do you think, Chris, about Ryan Garcia? Do you honestly think that he's probably like one of the best, or he's going to be one of the best upcoming fighters here in the next few years? Because I just saw him send a tweet that Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, and somebody else, he said that just because they try to imitate Floyd Mayweather as their shoulder roll, they're not going to be as good as him, and they won't last. Chris, what do you think? Do you think Ryan Garcia will last, or be an ultimate fighter in years to come?
I think Ryan Garcia is like I told last show, man. I think Ryan Garcia needs to fight Linares first to see where he's at. He's talking big names like Tank Davis and all these big guys, but I think still need that one fight. I think Linares is a big guy. He's a former title holder. His name holds water. So I think he's a good fighter. And I think that'd be the gauge to see where Ryan Garcia is at. After that, sky's the limit. If he go ahead and just knocks out Linares and just does his business, yeah, sky's the limit for him. But we need that first fight first. So we'll see how that goes from there.
What about you, Rob? What do you
Um,
Ryan Garcia?
I told you my thoughts about him are still up in the air because he's not like he's fighting a couple Linares, and that was pretty much the only name. I mean, he's fought a couple names, but not really. Like I say, it's I think he still needs to be tested. I mean, if the Tank Davis fight does, like you say, if it does happen, then it'll be the biggest test for both of them. I think going into that fight, so because I don't think Tank Davis has been tested either. So
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that chin still hasn't been touched yet, Jay. That
oh yeah,
Ryan Garcia's chin ain't been tested. I can't think off the top of the head, but what's the latest round he's been to? Has he went to the deep waters yet? 11, 12?
no, I don't think so. Right? No, I don't think so. I don't think he.
So I'm just thinking like he still has more to grow, more to show, and rushing these fights, that's fine, rushing, but I don't know. To me, I would think about the Fernando Vargas issue when Fernando Vargas jumped in the ring to fight Tito, and that was just too soon, man. That career was never the same after Tito.
Yeah, and I certainly agree with you. But Ruben, when you were at the Ryan Garcia fight, when he fought, how was the atmosphere? How was the people? They do say that he brings in a lot of people. So what did you feel from there when you were at that fight? Did you feel like the entire stadium or the arena was for him? And what about the age group? Because also they always say that the age group was more girls than I guess than guys. That's what I've been hearing. But what can you tell us about that fight that you attended?
Yeah, it was interesting. The atmosphere felt like Vegas. I was fortunate enough to be at Canelo Triple G 1 and 2. And although this wasn't all that, it did have Las Vegas feel. And the demographics were kind of more female, but it was actually a lot of female with their boyfriends. It was Valentine, but it was interesting to see that a lot of couples were going, and obviously there was a lot of other sprinkled girls in there as well, but he really brings out the fans, not just the casuals, but also the hardcore fans. There's people that really believe in what he does and really think he has a future. And it was really, really a good atmosphere. The whole Golden Boy team was out there. They were dressed up and go out to the strip after that. So I think the whole Golden Boy promotions, the fans, everyone took it really serious. People were dressed up like if they were in Vegas for a
So it's like a Junior Vegas, right? Like a Junior Vegas. But so let's just say
it was, yeah.
So like a Junior Vegas. Chris, I know you think a lot about this, but let's just say down the line in about 2 or 3 years, could you see maybe Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez being the top dogs in their divisions, or even running boxing? Because or even adding Virgil in there, adding what is the other young kid that is coming up? As Teofimo, and then
there's Oscar Valdez.
Mm-hmm. Well,
he's still coming up. I think the future looks good for boxing. I think Teofimo. I'm all for it, man. But to be Loma first, and Loma is no joke neither. So there's a lot of fights coming up that should have been happening in 2020 that we're not going to get right now until later on. To be these measures to see where these guys are at, So
I think about the 140 division, you can't even forget about Regis Prograde either. So I mean,
yeah, we missed the Prograde and Maurice Hooker fight too. That's supposed to happen a little while back. We down that fight too. So there's a lot of fights out there. There's a lot of fights, but future wise, boxing looks good. These young cats coming up look good, man. I think it's boxing's in good hands, in my opinion.
So obviously this pandemic.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
I was about to say this academic, because that's what Floyd Mayweather said the other time. Did you hear that when he said when this academic goes down, but it's pandemic? I was about to say academic too. Robert, so let's just say Ryan Garcia, everything's up there. He made the statement that he has a lot of Instagram followers, that he deserves to be paid a certain amount, which obviously Golden Boy paid him, because of his face and obviously his features. do you believe that Instagram, the amount of Instagram people that follow you, do you think that's a big influence going into the ring, Robert?
Nah, man, because look at what was that one before? There was one that was for Golden Boy. He had like 100,000 followers or 200,000 followers. I remember who it was. He was like Mick Carden. I can't remember what his name was. And then they ended up flagging all the fake accounts, and he just got all his accounts taken, all the followers taken away from him. But I can't remember who the fuck it was. I think
No,
about
but
it.
even on that, bro, we Ryan Garcia is a draw. We've seen him here in Dallas.
Yeah.
He came in Dallas for a like a signing here in Dallas. He was at Maple Gym. Shout out to Maple Gym. He was out there at Maple Gym doing autographs, and basically the line was wrapped around the gym all the way to the back. So he is a draw, and I believe he's as social media and as a following, he does have that and all that.
Yeah.
I think all that's legit, but that don't mean nothing when you get in that ring, man. You know, you can get in that ring and get beat down, but you know, only time will tell. Only time will tell, and I think we'll see what happens here soon. Hopefully, when all this stuff gets settled up. But I got a quick question, man. That WBC the WBC belt behind you, man. How'd you get that belt?
It's fake.
Oh, it is. No, but is it like
It's a replica.
Is it heavy? Is it heavy still? I like that belt. That's a nice belt. I need to get one of those.
It looks pretty heavy.
It's got a little weight to it, but it's not regulation.
And how much you pay?
I think it was on eBay like $150.
Oh, that's still not
That's
bad.
cheap.
That's pretty cheap. I mean, well, not really.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I wonder how much the real one costs. How much? Yeah, even know
Compared to the roots.
how much does the real one cost for real?
I thought it was about $500.
You can buy a replica on WBC for like maybe about $1,500, but the real ones, like the ones that Floyd and all those guys are winning, those are like $10,000 belts.
Well, even remember the pawn shop up in Dallas had a IBF.
IBF belt, yes, sure
I
did.
don't know whose belt it was, but they said whose belt it was when you bought it. I want to say Spinks or something like that. I don't know who it was, but they had the IBF belt at the pawn shop in Dallas one time. Or pops us a picture showing us.
I don't even know that. Dang, 150. I would pay that instead of a $10,000. So, Ruben, tell us a little bit more. You obviously stay in LA, right? Los Angeles, California, and you train with Marvin. How do you say his name again? Marvin what? I always forget to say his name.
Marvin Somodia.
Yeah. So, if I'm not mistaken, if my history is correct, he also trained Pacquiao for a certain amount of time, right? Or did he still? Chris had to go get his own belt.
I got mine at Trader Joe's for $5.
But can you tell us more about that? Like, how did you end up going to the gym? Can you tell us a little bit more about him to people that don't know?
Yeah, you know what, Marvin, he was a second to Freddie Roach for years, and he was actually brought on board after Ariza was no longer Pacquiao's strength and conditioning coach. Marvin was brought into the U.S. so that he could be the strength and conditioning coach for Manny Pacquiao. And little by little, he started doing other aspects for Manny Pacquiao as well. Since Freddie's getting older and he's looking faster, so obviously naturally Marvin is that guy. He's got an amateur and professional background in the Philippines, and now he's got his own gym in Los Angeles called Combinations Boxing Academy. But he still works pretty closely with the guys at Wildcard. He takes some of his stable of fighters, and they get some good sparring out there. But he's a great guy, very personable. And anytime you guys are out in Los Angeles, feel free to stop by the gym and meet some of the fighters and get a good workout.
Does he talk to you about the experiences that he's had training, Pacquiao, and what has he learned from being part of a Freddie Roach?
Oh yeah, I mean it's for him it's like the equivalent of being educated in boxing at Harvard.
Oh wow.
What's that? What'd you say, Jay?
No, I said, come on, tell us more. I want to know more. We all want to know more.
Yeah. Well, you know what? To be fair, there's certain things, and I'm sure that you guys have experienced this before when you're speaking to a boxer or a trainer. There are certain things that you can't share with the world. But he's told me a lot of interesting stories. But it has been just being part of anything Manny Pacquiao related. Um, just the way he trains, the way he eats, the way, and just how focused he is. He's got a whole different mindset than most boxers have, and that's why he's been successful for a long time, and he's still being successful. And I think he's still going to continue probably for another 5 years. He's going to be like another Bernard Hopkins, going well into his mid 40s and 50s, fighting at a really high level.
Any interesting stories that you can tell us? Share maybe one or two with us. That would be interesting so we can know more about him, because not just anybody can say, hey, they trained with Pacquiao's trainer was Freddie Roach, and even being at the Wild Claw boxing gym, I'm sure he was around a lot of elite fighters and a lot, famous people. So can you give us any, like maybe one or two stories?
Just trying to think here. That's a great question. I don't know. I'd probably have to run it by him before I share any stories. But he does tell me that it has been pretty amazing. He's had an amazing career in training fighters. But he's trained guys like even up and coming, or not up and coming guys, but guys that are the current, like Jose Ramirez. One of his favorite fighters that he ever got to work with was Ruslan Provodnikov and Miguel Cotto. And so it's been really, really interesting to hear wars that he's been in with these guys. And it's so interesting to hear how you really take a vested interest in the fighter that you're training, because you're looking at their health and their life, and you just want the best for them all the time. And it's really hard to kind of train him to put him in that position where you don't really know what's going to happen at the end of the day. So it's been pretty interesting. A lot of the times what we do, though, is we kind of dissect a fight that he didn't train or wasn't at, but he'll kind of give me a little couple pointers and say, well, this is what I think that guy should have done, and this is what he could have done better, and this is, I didn't think it was going to be a good fight, but I was pleasantly surprised. And so that's really what's fun about talking to a guy who really knows the ins and outs of boxing and didn't even see that part of the fight game that he sees. It's pretty fascinating.
Chris, I know you've been a Pacquiao fan too, so I'm sure you've been curious to ask something about, the being around in that area. I know you want to go ahead and ask him something, so I'll let you go ahead and ask him something, Chris.
Well, no, I don't want to ask about the Pacquiao. He said he went to the Triple G and Canelo fight, and I want to know who he think won that Triple G Canelo fight.
Man, that's a really good question. You know what? I'll be completely honest. In that first fight, I was there with my brother, and we looked at each other and we thought, man, I don't think he won it. I don't think he won that one. And when he got the split decision, we thought, wow, that's a gift. I think Triple G did more. He was the aggressor, and there was just no way that that Canelo won that one. And so it was a gift that he got to draw. On the second one, I was there live, and of course, it's always different when you're seated in one fixed location as opposed to watching it on TV when you get multiple angles and you have sometimes a little bit of biased commentary. But in the second one, I did think that Canelo won that fight. When we were scoring it round by round in person, of course, it looks a little bit different on TV, but in person and in real time, I had Canelo winning that second fight, and it was just my thoughts.
Do you deserve it? Do you think there needs to be a 3?
I think there needs to be a 3 only because they were all very competitive. I mean, as long as you have something competitive and the fans still want it, why not? I mean, when we look at some of the greatest fights, we look at Marquez and Pacquiao. They did it 4 times, and
No.
Even though that was probably inevitable, you learn a guy, and the more you learn him, the better the fight's gonna be. Even though Triple G is getting a little bit older, he's starting to be a little bit more methodical in how his approach is. So it'll be interesting to see a 3rd fight with Banks in his corner as opposed to his former trainers. So
Yeah, but I'm looking
I
at
think
it.
a 3rd
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
fight would be really, really interesting.
Yeah, I think a 3rd fight would be good, but not good. I think 3rd fight would be justice for the fans. But I think I'm a Triple G fan. I like Triple G, and I think this moving forward, I don't know, man. This Banks, I ain't seen a lot different of Triple G. He's still Triple G, and I just feel like in order to get that win, you gotta get that knockdown or get that knockout to beat Canelo in his backyard. So does Triple G have that? I don't know. I think that his shot was the 1st or the 2nd fight. Going to his 3rd fight, I don't think that he's gonna be able to pull it off. And like I said, I am a Triple G fan, but that's just how I see it going forward.
But he's already about to be 40, so he has a trainer in his corner. I mean, Ruben, you just said you're going to see how it's going to be having him in his corner. He had Abel Sanchez for a quite long some time. What makes you think that he's about to hit 40, that he's going to do something different that he's done throughout his entire career? That's what something I'm just like, well, he can have a trainer, but at the end of the day, if that game plan that the trainer gives him, Triple G is just going to go his own way. I think we just lost him. But I don't know. What do you think about that, guys? Like, I'll go ahead and add him back here in a couple seconds. But what do you think about that? He just said that he has a new trainer. Once he has a new trainer, we could see a new of him. He's already tiptoeing about to be 40. What is the difference that we're going to see? What do you think? What do you think about that?
What's the saying, Jay? You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Exactly.
I think Triple G. I think like I said, if I was to bet my money on it, I don't think Triple G is going to win the 3rd fight. The 3rd fight at all. He had his chance. The first 2 ones, he knew what he had to do. I think he won both of those fights, but the Canelo came out the victorious on both of those fights. So, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah. I'm kind of past it already. I want to see this Lomachenko and Telefino. I want to see all these other fights coming up that I want to see. That are like more younger guys, more coming up and this and that. So the future of boxing is basically what I want to see.
Yeah, but I mean, what do you think about this, Chris? I mean, Robert, what do you think about that? Like, he just said, he's going to have a new trainer in his corner, but I mean, Triple G is not going to change the way he's fought for so long. What's going to happen? What do you think?
Well, I think it's going to be a thing for both of them. It's not like one over the other. I mean, Canelo hasn't been in the ring as long either, but still because when's the last time Canelo fought? Was the Kovalev fight?
Yes. Yeah.
That was. So he fought this year at all. So was it in the last year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I say it's going to be a thing for both of them. So I mean, I don't think they can Triple G. They can't really. Result up age-wise to going to a new trainer. I don't see how that's going to, if we can learn anything new or if he's going to be completely different. I can't see him being completely different fight than the 1st and 2nd one.
But yeah, I can't see anything going any different. I can't. Go ahead.
And Canelo's on that. Canelo's been, like I said, I'm not a fan of Canelo by no means at all. But I got a peep game, and I got to show props where props due. And the dude is doing some great things, man. He's doing what he got to do, and he looks like an animal. He looks like a beast. And I don't think Triple G. I don't think he wants those problems, just going forward. Triple G. Like I said, Triple G had his chance to do it. He didn't do it. And that Canelo he's looking really good, man. He's looking he's filling out really well, and that dude got some power, man. So I cannot hate on that, and I cannot not give him his credit because he is doing good things.
So, you know, we keep on discussing about Canelo, and I'm sure probably people want to hear about different fighters. Let's go ahead and jump into real quick on Deontay Wilder and what was his name? The Gypsy King. What do you think about that? There should be a third fight.
Fury.
Yeah, Tyson Fury. So now we got Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, then we got Anthony Joshua, and still looming in the background, we got Andy Ruiz. We got those 4 fighters. So obviously for now, we just have the Gypsy King still needs to face Anthony Joshua. Would y'all want to see when this happens? Well, obviously, this is still in a contract that, you know, the Gypsy King is supposed to fight Wilder in the third fight. Would y'all want to see that immediately, or should we see Anthony Joshua next? What do y'all think? If you know, let's say hypothetically, let's just say if it was,
isn't it already signed?
Yeah, it is. But I'm just saying, like, what about if they don't push it? What about since this delay is still going on? What about they still want to push it for another fight? Would y'all want to see maybe against Anthony Joshua, or still continue against?
No, but there's no way. Okay, if they're going to fight each other, there's no way that one of them is going to take the Joshua fight. There's no way they're not going to put themselves in that possibility of losing that fight and sitting here not getting that chance to get the belt back. Like Deontay Wilder not getting a chance to get his belt back. There's no way they put themselves in that situation. It would be a tune-up fight that wouldn't really matter. Like it would be just something like nobody. It might be at Ortiz again, or something that doesn't matter. It doesn't make any sense to sit there and do it like that.
Yeah, well, so I was just kind of saying hypothetically, just having with different ideas. So would you say that maybe Deontay Wilder would have to face Andy Ruiz to have like a redemption fight? Or what do you think about that?
I don't want to see none of those fights.
Huh?
I don't want to see none of those fights. I don't want to see them. What I want to see is Gypsy King and Anthony Joshua over there on their side in a big stadium for all the marbles. Deontay Wilder, if you're on that bandwagon and you're rolling that flag and waving that flag, we knew Wilder wasn't what I knew Wilder. Well, my personal opinion, I knew Wilder wasn't what everybody assumed he was. If you watch all the highlights and everything, they're constantly trying to show you and trying to put in your mind that he had this one-handed quitter. He's gonna lay everybody out. But if you don't land that one-handed quitter, he had nothing to back up, nothing to rely on. He boxes wild, and we knew Tyson Fury. He knew how to box and move around. So to me, I knew Tyson Fury was gonna be able to take care of that. So if I knew once he couldn't get that punch off, I knew it was gonna happen. So Wilder's always been wild, and then Anthony Ruiz, kudos to him. He won that first one. Second one, bro, you let everybody down, man. That's the one you should have showed out for. You should have got in the gym, worked out, and show your fans that it wasn't a fucking fluke. It was honestly your skills that pay the bills. But his wasn't. He lacked, went on parades, bought jewelry, bought cars, bought houses. That's cool, man. But you can do that shit when you retire. So, but to me, I think with him, I think Joshua beats him. So I want the big fight for all the marbles, for all the belt unification.
But I guess Robert shut me down real quick when I'm over here trying to say hypothetically. If we were like, I know Robert was like, "Man, be quiet." I'm just saying hypothetically. I'm just trying to think.
No. I get what you're saying, but I'm saying the point of they wouldn't.
He slammed that door, Jay. He slammed that door.
He was like, they wouldn't put themselves in that situation. Like, there's no way somebody's gonna be like, let me take the easy payday. If I'm gonna do a tune-up fight, it's gonna be a tune-up fight. It's gonna be a true tune-up fight. Nobody like, I'm gonna fight Joshua, and then I got you next. Like, that's not new. They're trying to save that payday, make more money for that fight. So.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly I see where you're coming.
Well, one thing, if you're, I was say if you're tuning in, hit that like button, hit that share button. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Show us some love, support the hustle, like I always say. With Real Talk Boxing.
For who? For Real Talk fans. But
no, it's Real Talk Boxing. Real Talk for real boxing fans.
So let's go ahead and discuss the other topic that people have been seeing. Did y'all see that Floyd Mayweather has been training in the gym lately?
I haven't seen it, but I think it'd be hard for him to get out of that gym. Like you say, that's what he's trained for so many years, his whole life, and then to be just giving up completely. Like, why do you think he's just trying to come out of retirement or what?
No, people are just speculating now, right? So they're just thinking like, hey, why is Floyd Mayweather and at the boxing gym? What is it that he's doing? He's been running some miles in the desert or running around, and then also he's at this boxing gym. So what do you think about that? Like, do you think maybe people are just speculating maybe because he needs another big paycheck because he spent so much money? But do y'all think that maybe it could be a possibility? Because we always talk about this, like he's always trying to be in the top of the conversation that he would like to have another retirement fight. But could this possibly happen that maybe he will want to come back, or what do y'all think?
I think you can never have enough money. I think if he's going broke or whatever case there might be, whatever people are speculating, you can never have enough money. So there's always a fact of Pacquiao and Mayweather Part 2, which don't want to see. Are you talking about the McGregor, Mayweather, which we don't want to see also?
But see, even outside of it, you think he would fight?
Like Jay said, big?
What'd you say, Rob?
Like who, Canelo?
Even outside of it, you think he took it?
Canelo's too big of a dude.
No, I was saying outside of that, if they didn't, you think he fight somebody else that was big? I don't see him taking on a big name to hurt his, precious his perfect record is to him. I don't see him doing that to make that, that perfect record not stay perfect.
The biggest draw is Canelo, and Canelo's way up there, man. Unless he finds kind of catch weight, but that's a lot of weight to catch up on, man. Because Canelo's way up there in weights, so I don't see that fight happening at all. And other than that, you got Pacquiao. The only one that sounds reasonable because Pacquiao's at what 154, right?
Yeah. No, 147.
147. 147.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that would be the only fight you could probably make because the weight wise, and Pacquiao's still a draw after all these years. He's drawing, and he still has a name for himself. So that'd be the only thing you really can put together. Nobody else, I don't think Bud Crawford is a big enough draw to entice Floyd. Earl Spence, none of that stuff like that. So it'll have to be Pacquiao or Canelo or go to that Conor McGregor. Yeah. You need to get that money ready because his daughter got in trouble for stabbing somebody. So he need to get that money together so he can work on her case.
So we have Ruben back. Hopefully his service is a little bit better.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's actually
a lot better?
Yeah, way much better.
All right. Cool.
We were discussing about, maybe just I was saying hypothetical fights, but Robert was telling me no. I keep on picking up. But we're just saying, the Gypsy fight. I mean, the Gypsy King fighting Deontay Wilder. Apparently, they said that they're supposed to be. They already have a contract. They're supposed to be signed. I don't know what else I asked Robert, but I say, would that still be a good fight? You still have Anthony Joshua, you have the Gypsy King, you have Deontay Wilder, and then you have looming Andy Ruiz. Let's just say once the Deontay Wilder and the Gypsy King fight happens, what is another fight that you would like to see in the heavyweight division?
I would really like to see Andy Ruiz and King Kong. To me, that would be an interesting fight because it's two very smart fighters. It's a southpaw for Andy Ruiz, and that would just be interesting to me. Even though Ruiz, the King Kong is very, very old, he's in his 40s. To me, it's still a really interesting fight because he still has power in that left hand, and Andy doesn't have that big of a reach, so it's easy for King Kong to reach him.
Laura just said, I like hypothetical fights. Thank you, Laura. Thank you. At least somebody supports me on this. Thank you, because I just make a conversation. But yeah, I do agree. King Kong, and I didn't bring him up just because it hasn't been really said if he would fight him, if he would fight King Kong in the near future. But I was thinking maybe if this were to happen, if everything settles down, I would like to see Andy Reese face Deontay Wilder maybe later, maybe like a redemption fight. If Deontay Wilder still is looming and searching for another win, if he gets another loss against Gypsy King, it could hurt him mentally. But we could talk about would you like to see Andy Reese versus Deontay Wilder? That would be a good, interesting fight. I would think Deontay Wilder would beat him, but what do you think?
Yeah, that's a good fight. I think that Ruiz, and maybe I'm being biased, because I'm Mexican, but I think Ruiz would, if a focused Ruiz went in there in shape and no issues with the right trainer, I think he could give Deontay Wilder a run for his money, because I think that the Gypsy King has exposed Deontay as a one-trick pony. Now, yes, the one-trick that he has is that right hand. It's a vicious right hand, and more often than not, probably 9 times out of 10, he's going to beat most guys with it. But I think a guy like Andy Ruiz, who has those skills, who's a big man, I think he can, if he's in the right mindset, he'll give Deontay a run for his money. Not saying that he's going to win, but I think it'll be a very, very interesting fight. He can get on the inside and make sure he's moving it, give him lateral movement. It'll be interesting in that sense, because Deontay has trouble with something like that. Even though King Kong was slow, he was giving him angles, and it took him a while to figure that out until he could really land that right hand. But I think a guy like Andy Ruiz, if he comes in shape and does those smart things, he can give him an interesting fight.
Ruben, I totally agree with you, Ruben, on that one. I think Wilder's if that right hand ain't landing, and knocking somebody out, he's in trouble. He don't have a plan B. He can't box. If you're in there with the boxer that's going to box, he's in trouble. I think Ortiz in that first fight, round 7, I believe, he had Wilder hurt, and he was just minutes or maybe seconds away from winning that fight, but he gassed himself out, man. It's like, God, no, but I don't think Wilder is like I said, TV and everything showed you he has his power, but it's just like, man, that power is cool and all, but that's if he lands it. That's if he actually connects it. When he's in there with the boxer, you're gonna have trouble, man. They're gonna move. They're gonna give you angles. They're gonna duck, slip, slide. It's not easy work, for Wilder at all. I don't think.
Yeah.
Even with Andy Ruiz, and he's focused, and I believe he just signed with the Reynosos, didn't he? He's training with them now, right?
In the top.
Well, yeah, they're in talks with them. From what I understand, he's very he would love them. They're his first round pick, but they haven't talked and they haven't had a serious discussions as last I read. But that would be really interesting, and they would be the ones that get him in shape to do what you just said.
Yeah, because Ryan Garcia, I've seen him just grow, and the Canelo, he's constantly showing improvement every time he fights. And that's a good fit for Canelo. And those guys are doing some good things. So that's probably why he's a trainer of the year last year, I believe. So they're doing great things. I think Oscar Valdez is with them too, right?
Yeah. You know what? He's a guy that gets overlooked because even though it's not a big stable, it's a quality stable. And you're right, man. Oscar Valdez in any other gym, he's probably the top dog. And that's an interesting point that you brought him up, because he does get overlooked in that really quality gym.
But I think he gets overlooked because he didn't have a convenient. What's the most last fight that he had, but also because also in the part of the stable of Eddie Reynoso, there's what's his name, Julio Cesar Martinez, a young little kid. He doesn't train fully, but he's in his corner. And Julio Cesar Martinez is one of my favorite fighters because he's in the featherweight division, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
and he's a big brawler. Like he'll tear anybody up. But I think that's why one of the biggest things that I would like to mention is that yes, Andy Ruiz can go to Eddie Reynoso and you think he can make wonders, but it also comes with the discipline from Andy Ruiz, because if Andy Ruiz cannot do what he's been told, if that money's still getting to him, Eddie Reynoso is going to have a lot of problems. I'm not going to be able to train him,
Yeah. And that's been the knock.
Yeah, I think it's Robert that's echoing.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's yours.
I'll call back. Let me turn this off and I'll call back.
And that's funny because that's been the knock on Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, he was with Top Rank. Top Rank does a phenomenal job of signing really good fighters. And the knock on him was why they released him was because you never know which Andy Ruiz you're going to get. Are you going to get the very talented Andy Ruiz, or are you going to get that lazy Andy Ruiz who just doesn't show up? And even in a time when he fought Parker, he should have won that fight, but he didn't come in 100%, and he blew his chance in that. And then he got redemption with Joshua, but you just never know which Ruiz you're going to get. So to your point, Jay, is you're right. I think Maine is correct when he says that if he does get in there with Reynoso is going to be that guy. Like, hey, listen, just like Teddy Atlas, if you come in here, these are the things I expect from you. The minute you don't do that, there's no second chance, you're out. And I think with Reynoso, it's going to be the same thing. Hey, this is what I need you to do. This is what we expect from you. When you don't have a fight coming up, you're still in here working or you're doing something. You're not just sitting around. So I think in that respect, Reynoso can get him to that point. But you're right, Jay. We've seen in the past that Andy doesn't listen to anyone but Andy.
Yeah, and I think his biggest downfall is layover time. I guess because the last fight he had, with the first win, he fought back-to-back fights, and then when he has that long time to hang out, whatever you call it, he just doesn't do good. I saw a video with him on YouTube where he was eating pizza and just doing all kind of stuff. It's like, man, bro, I understand you won and gloat, but come on, man. Like the second fight, you need that second fight too, because all they're gonna say is, "Oh, you got lucky, yada yada." But to me, it's just that second fight. We need that second fight. So that third fight, we'll see what happens. But when Jay was asking that question, I think I'd rather see the Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua on their side in a big stadium to unify the division, to have one solid heavyweight champion, and that'd be the fight I want to see.
Yeah, I agree. And even though I hate it because it's we always want to see U.S. heavyweight fighters. This isn't that, but man, it would be huge for the sport of boxing. It would be amazing if they did that.
I think so too, man. It'd be awesome.
I personally think that Andy Ruiz, and we're still talking about that topic about Andy Ruiz, I'm still in awe, like what's gonna happen. Like, and before you left, Ruben, you say, Triple G has his trainer in his corner. I just want to see what he will do if he's with Eddie Reynoso, like we just said. But my thing is, like, how is he going to change him? Like, how's he going to develop him? Because Andy Ruiz is not your ideal fit heavyweight. He's shorter. He doesn't have the reach. He has the speed. He has somewhat of power, but he does not have the reach. He doesn't have that frame. So how is he going to go to? Excuse me. How's he going to fight, or how's he going to dominate a Gypsy Queen who moves as smooth in the ring like Muhammad Ali used to do? You're going to do it with Deontay Wilder, when Deontay Wilder is just gonna keep him off with his distance and just get him with the right hand, that powerful right hand. How's he gonna do it again? I don't think he's gonna get that Anthony Joshua fight again, because Anthony Joshua just exposed him, and a lot of people said it was a boring fight, but that fight was just a terrific fight. It was an artistic fight because Anthony Joshua stuck to his game plan and he just clearly outboxed him. So my thing, how is he going to change him? Like you said, Top Rank is one of the biggest boxing promotions out there. They let him go for a reason. Bob Arum said why, and so that's just my thoughts. Like, what's going to happen next? So I want to see how he's going to change him. I want to see that, and for Reynoso, I'm sure you just want to turn him down, because he said in a lot of interviews, like, hey, who would turn down like the first heavyweight champion of Mexico that's ever produced? Reynoso's Mexican, like you said, Ruben, you're Mexican, I'm Mexican, and we're proud of that, and we're not gonna let our raza down. But at the same time, Eddie Reynoso, like we just said, has a very strong stable. We just said Oscar Valdez, obviously Canelo, Ryan Garcia. Then he has
Cesar
Martinez. So adding Andy Ruiz, like, is just gonna build up. But the job of a trainer, when I saw people tweeting it when this went viral, People think, a trainer's job is like, it's no joke, it's no joke. Like, it's like like 7 days a week, almost every single day. Like, I think they were talking about that Robert Garcia or Manny Robles after Andy Ruiz won. I think Manny Robles the next day was like on a flight back to LA or to California, and he had to train somebody that same night. So like it's a lot of commitment. So like a trainer like Eddie Reynoso is not gonna want to look bad. Just how Andy Ruiz told Manny Robles, I'm sorry, it was my fault. Like, I let you down. And Manny Robles is like, yeah, dude, you're making me look bad. Well,
Yeah.
you're not looking yourself bad. You're making me look bad. So that's something else that Eddie Reynoso is gonna have to think. And like you said, like what's his name, Teddy Atlas said, is these rules and that's it. I think that he's gonna try to link up with Eddie Reynoso. That it's Mexican and Mexican, or Mexican American and Mexican. He can have more of that connection with him, just like he probably had with Manny Robles. But I think Eddie Reynoso is gonna have to be like, hey, dude, like this side's gonna go down, this side's gonna be, and if it doesn't, like I'm gonna be out, and it's just because we couldn't work it out, and that's just gonna show the truth of Andy Ruiz. And I hope he gets his act together, because even his dad said, like, man, he acts like a kid,
Yeah.
So
I hope.
Yeah,
I hope right now in that in this quarantine time though, I hope he's been saving his money, because he was spending a lot of that Joshua money though, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was. He was buying cars, jewelry. He was on talk shows. He was doing all kind of stuff, man. He was living that life. And I get it, man. You work hard that's what your whole career you build up to, for that one moment to do it. But you also got to get that moment, embrace it, put it there, and keep it moving, man. You just can't get lost in that moment. So I think that was his downfall. Like you say, he let his coach down, but I think he let a whole race down, a whole country down that was cheering for him.
Now, what do you guys think? So obviously in his last Joshua fight, he was spending a lot of that money, and he got what we heard somewhere about $10 million. Now going forward, his stock has dropped a little bit. If you have a guy like Dillian White who wants to fight him, who says he's offered about $3 to $5 million, if you fought for $10 million, would you go, and how would you be motivated to fight for $3 to $5 million? Do you think he has that in him, Andy Ruiz?
Oh, big time! It's millions. What are you talking about? Like, I'm sure Andy Ruiz knows in the back of his mind, like, nobody's gonna pay me this type of money right now, so I'm just gonna have to do it. So, heck yeah, like, he's not gonna get any other bigger fights than that, and it's especially money. He's in the millions. So if I was him, people are gonna say, bro, you don't deserve this type of money. You're not up there. Like, again, like your stock has came down. You gotta, get those 3 million, sacrifice that money so you can go back and make another 10 million, so people can see that you're the real deal. That's what I think. What do you think, Chris? I know here we got a few minutes before we wrap up.
I think with that, he got bills to pay, man. He has mortgages to pay. He has kids. He has a lifestyle to maintain. Yeah, it's not in the thousands, it's in the millions. It's not nearly what he needs, but to get there, hopefully get in shape, get some touches, get a couple million off of it. Yeah, sure, why not? But that's our mentality. We don't know what his mentality is. To us, that makes sense, but to him, it might not make sense. Maybe he wants bigger money, and I don't know who's going to give it to him. Besides the big heads you got there, Gypsy King, and you got Wilder, and you got Anthony Joshua. But he's quick to say, three, the rematch. But man, you stunk the room, man, with that second one, man. It's kind of hard to. I think you need that Dillian White to get that name back and put your name back in the spotlight, so you can get that Joshua fight. That's what I think.
Yeah. So I agree that there's just a lot that it can be discussed and talked about, but I would like to really see the redemption of Andy Ruiz, just because he's the first ever Mexican heavyweight champion, and I can't blame him for the decisions that he's made, because we're sitting from the outside and criticizing somebody that's never has never been in that platform all their entire life. So it's easy for us, and I understand, and we should be like, hey man, questioning what he's doing, but at the same time, being the first ever Mexican, American heavyweight champion of the world, and getting offered this type of money, being this type of fighter in a spontaneous fight that you were not even supposed to be there. Me, if that would happen to me, I would go crazy a little bit. And I can't blame him entirely, and I can't criticize him because if he came, because before that, I think Manny Robles said, and I think Andy Ruiz said that before this, he was in construction. That's why he gained so much weight. He didn't take care of himself. He was doing construction. So, I mean, yes and no, like I understand where he's coming from, how he's handling his life. At the same time, like, dude, like, you know, I mean, come on. Like, all the professional fighters have had quite a bit of a downfall. And I'm not saying it in a mean way, like look at Oscar De La Hoya, the way he handled his life. Look at Julio Cesar Chavez. Look at oh my gosh, Pacquiao. He even said he had like moments when he was just like, oh, what's like, you know, drinking, partying, and being with numerous women. Like, you know, all of them have that moment, and I think Andy Ruiz just hit really quick. So that's why.
No, his problem not women. His problem is eating, bro.
Yeah.
Well, and I had no room to talk, but you know, that's just what it is, you know? He can't control himself. You know, that's all it is.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and just start wrapping it up because I know me and Chris are very eager to see The Last Dance. We want to watch it right on time. But it's been a good show. I know we didn't script this, we didn't talk to this. Wish we'd have had our other partner, Thomas, that's also in LA. I know Robert was having bad connections. But Ruben, we appreciate you, but I will leave you with some homework, and I think me and Chris are going to be expecting this homework to come back. We would like for you to go ahead and talk to Marvin and at least get some maybe have him on the show. Will be the first thing if you'll want to be on the show. The second thing, you know, maybe when we have you back on, that hopefully you can be back on soon again. Ruben, we would like for you to bring some more stories. Tell us something that you've done, because I got numerous stories that I tell my guys when I'm part of Hector Vasquez, who's part of also Mikey Garcia Promotions. So it's not more like for, I guess you can say the entertainment, but more like learning the type of the background stuff that happens. But we'll go ahead and wrap this up, and that's going to be your homework, Ruben. And this is Jay Martinez, Real Talk Boxing. Just excited for this. We'll give everybody a few minutes before The Last Dance comes up. That it became like with the highest viewing show. So go ahead, Chris. I'll go ahead and let you say your last words before we go off.
Hey, Ruben, I want to thank you for helping us out, man. You're our plug in California, and I do appreciate you so much for helping us out. And it was a joy to have you on the show. Want to have you back soon again. You're very knowledgeable. You know what you're talking about, and I love that belt in the background. But you just I just want to thank you so much for everything. And just I'm happy to do a business with you in the future, man. So we'll keep it moving. Everything. Once again, my name's Chris. My good friends call me Main. That's MAIN. I'm on all social medias. Check me out at Mainzilla, MAINZILLA 23. And Ruben, go ahead and give your social media and everything out that you have, Ruben.
Yeah. You can follow me at Ruben Rivera Jr. That's on Instagram. That's really the only place I'm at. And then anytime we're covering fights, you can follow any of the stuff I do on Real Talk Boxing.
Boom. So it's been a good show.
Get out to the shout. I just want to just shout out, man. Romero, what's up to Romero? Tab, Winchester, everyone's in the chat, hitting us up. Thanks for responding, replying. Comments.
Tommy, Odd for Real, the podcast, Mario, Pete Garcia, Bianca, your sister, Wendy, all these people that tuned in. So we appreciate y'all, and we hope you have a great night. Thank you, and we will be back on Thursday, see how we have this lined up. And so